Welcome to Shredder Fanfic. Like, subscribe, and hype video. Join members to gain early access to new videos. The main character, after dying in his previous life, wakes up as a Uchiha clan 3 years after the Ninetales attack. He has a favorability attribute system and he starts with training Itachi.
Chapter 1. 15 years old, naive, and very insecure. I'm 15 years old this year, but I haven't awakened my sharingen yet. My peers have already reached the 3-tomo stage, and I feel very inferior. Konoha Uchiha Clan Clinic, Psychological Clinic. In a sun-drenched office, a young Uchiha man sleeps soundly in a recliner. He was wearing a dark blue police uniform and was telling the doctor about his deepest distress. It's one thing that Shisui only had 3 tomo at age 12. He was the clan's #1 genius, so I can understand. But even Kakashi, that outsider, earned the title of copy ninja with his Uchiha sharingen. What's most infuriating is that he's a one-eyed ninja. I can't even compare to a one-eyed ninja tilde. The boy's voice lowered, carrying undisguised frustration and disappointment. I doubt I'm a real Uchiha. Maybe I'm just a useless person with Byakugan blood mixed in. Oh, there's a story behind it. When I was little, I got into a fight with my sister and saw my mom glare at me with her Byakugan, but she kept it a secret from everyone and refused to admit that she was a member of the Hyuga clan. As far as I know, there has never been a case of marriage between the Uchiha and Hyuga clans. Uchiha Kazuhiko was speechless. What is all this about? If you can't open your eyes, look for the reasons within yourself. Have you worked hard to refine your chakra over the years? Have you built good relationships with others? It's very difficult for the Uchiha clan to awaken their sharingen, you know. As expected, most members of the Uchiha clan have some degree of mental illness. Brackets, except Uchiha Kazuhiko's family, brackets are completed. That's right, Kazuhiko is a transmigrator who broke the mystery of being born, and his mind still contains a ball of light, shaped like a book. A happy family, a home with a cat, and a blissful life. After 3 months of experimentation, he has gained a basic understanding of his cheat system and has given it a name. Deep Blue. Simply put, this is a favorability stat system that triggers world-line quests. You can gain opportunities to draw entries by gaining favor or dislike. The terms have both good and bad aspects. The gacha pool is independent. Single pulls are a money pit, and 10 pulls guarantee a pity system. What's special is that he can give the words he draws to others. The main reason he is undergoing psychotherapy is to gain favor. Harvest favorability to extract keywords and change your fate of death and extermination. Ahem, Uchiha and Yangsu coughed twice. Now we will officially begin today's psychological diagnosis. You need to carefully consider and answer my questions. I will score you according to mild, moderate, high, and severe to determine your tendency to open your eyes and prepare appropriate eye-opening treatment for you. Good. Who is the person you most want to kill in the village? In the village. The boy frowned, without the slightest hesitation. The second Hokage, Tobarama Senju. No Uchiha wouldn't hate the second Hokage, I believe, Doctor. Kazuhiko feels the same way, right? No. Don't talk nonsense. I didn't. I never imagined leading the Uchiha clan to defeat Danzo, overthrow the third Hokage, and becoming Hokage myself. Slander. Someone here is slandering me. Kazuhiko paused. The second Hokage has already died in battle. Why do you have such thoughts? There are various reasons, but the main one is a pregnant dog. A pregnant dog. Tell me more. Tobarama Senju believed that everything was the Uchiha's fault. When a dog outside the village got pregnant, he said, It's all the fault of the inherently evil Uchiha. This is blatant discrimination against us Uchiha. That's why I wanted to kill him. This anecdote about racial discrimination is pretty outrageous. However, this is indeed something Tobirama Senju could say, because he had a closed-loop chain of suspicion. It is known that the Uchiha clan includes Hamas, Uchiha Madara. Extensive craniotomies and biopsy studies have demonstrated that the inherently evil Uchiha clan members have the potential to transform into Hamas. Therefore, Uchiha equals Hamas. Conclusion: the Uchiha clan must be constantly monitored and prepared for bombing at any time. The chain of evidence is perfect. Diagnosis of homicidal tendencies. Uchiha Kazuhiko checked the box for mild. His family is too happy, and his mental state is too normal. He's got all the debuffs. No wonder he hasn't opened his eyes at 15. For an Uchiha to secretly desire to kill a dead person, frankly, lowers the average level of Uchiha psychopaths. Compared to Obito, who failed in his early romance, Itachi Uchiha, a Konoha native, is completely lacking in murderous tendencies. It seems unlikely that opening his eyes and having him kill his enemy in an illusion will work. Next question. Who is the person you cherish most? My dad is the garrison captain. Tusk, nice title for the essay. What is the thing you regret the most? During the Chunin exams, they made a wrong prediction and lost to the Hyuga clan. What is the most painful thing you have ever experienced? Losing to the Hyuga clan disappointed my father. How far are you willing to go for the Uchiha clan? I have no idea. Let me rephrase the question. Would you be willing to give your life for the Uchiha clan? Without the slightest hesitation, the boy replied, I'm willing. Correct answer. On the night of annihilation, we need young people like you, with hemorrhoids who are about to realize their ideals, to stand up and shed their blood. You've definitely awakened your Sharingan. I, Uchiha Kazuhiko, said that no one can change my mind. What? Get Hashirama here. Unfortunately, out of respect for the dead, even the god of ninjas must avoid my sharp edge. Time passed slowly, and Uchiha Kazuhiko's psychological diagnosis came to an end. One last question. How many Tomo Sharingan do you want to awaken? Single Tomo, double Tomo. 3 hooks. It has to be 3 hooks. The boy spoke very loudly. I want to prove myself. I don't want to be trampled on for the rest of my life. I've endured for 3 years, waiting for the chance to awaken the 3 Tomo Sharingan and take back everything I've lost. Very good, that line had a certain power. However, have you considered unlocking the kaleidoscope? The Uchiha boy was clearly shocked. Sigma, degrees. Me. A kaleidoscope. Is that even possible? That's the legendary kaleidoscope. Like me. Can an ordinary Uchiha who hasn't awakened his Sharingan, has both parents, and has a younger sister to protect, really hope to awaken the legendary Mangekaiwu Sharingan? That's a good option. You have excellent qualifications and a good family background. I have high hopes for you. If the night of annihilation happens as usual, you'll be quite a character if you survive. Mangekaiwu Sharingan. I want to awaken the Mangekaiwu Sharingan and protect the glory of the Uchiha clan. It is my duty. Very good. My Uchiha clan is truly full of talent, even having brother Rongguang. What makes Konoha think they can kill my entire family and annihilate my entire clan? Uchiha Kazuhiko closed the psychological questionnaire and quickly summarized the boy's psychological state. Uchiha Shota, 15 years old, Chunin. Sharingan not activated. Mild homicidal tendencies, strong sense of family honor, severe inferiority complex. Diagnosis: disconnected identity, distorted dignity, a mixture of inferiority and arrogance, and anxiety about collective persecution. Analysis of the condition: he was discriminated against, yet he wanted to defeat the genius Hyuga to prove himself and gain his father's approval. They were taught to love Konoha, yet Konoha treated them as internal enemies and isolated and monitored them. She was taught to love the Uchiha clan, but was ridiculed and isolated by her clan members. Under multiple influences, he felt that he was neither a true Konoha person nor a true Uchiha. Self-doubt, self-denial. Conclusion: there is already a tendency for the eyes to open. Awakening aptitude, perfect. Note: Uchiha, a loyal retainer with a sword, is a key talent being groomed for the 3-year Hokage plan. Uchiha Kazuhiko took notes and woke up the boy Shota, who was lying on the recliner. Uchiha Shota, the psychological diagnosis shows that you are showing signs of awakening your Sharingan. Relax and follow up within 3 days. Then I will officially awaken your Sharingan. Really, really. I'm not questioning you, but... Shota was so excited that he became incoherent. That sounds really unbelievable. He hadn't awakened his Sharingan by the age of 15 and had suffered too much scorn and injustice. Now, someone actually told him that they could help him awaken his Sharingan. Could this possibly be true? Of course it's true. Uchiha Kazuhiko patted Shota on the shoulder and activated Deep Blue. You have assigned the following negative attribute to your target: susceptibility to illusion, blue. Susceptibility to illusion: decreased mental sensitivity, easily trusting others, and susceptible to the influence of illusions. The other party is completely unprepared for you. Their resolve wavers, and the entry takes effect. Beneath the lens, a faint flow of chakra appeared in Kazuhiko's eyes, a sign that Genjutsu was being activated. As a member of the Uchiha clan, the time when each person awakens their Sharingan is not something they can decide for themselves. Various factors lead to significant differences between individuals, so there's no need to feel inferior because of this. Uchiha Kazuhiko looked sincerely at Shota and increased his chakra output. In my opinion, the fact that you were able to advance to Chunin without relying on the Sharingan already makes you a genius ninja. I really am a genius. At this moment, in Uchiha Shota's field of vision, Kazuhiko seemed to be glowing. His face was handsome, uniquely so, and his eyes were sincere and clear. Every word he said made perfect sense and was convincing. As expected of an Uchiha like me. Although you're just a medical genin, you've earned the approval of me, Chunin Shota. With your aptitude, awakening the Sharingan shouldn't have been a problem in the first place. The reason you couldn't do it before was simply because of too much psychological pressure, and your mind became paranoid. As long as you accept my psychological treatment, I am confident that I can help you unleash your original potential and awaken the Sharingan. Shota nodded repeatedly upon hearing this, becoming increasingly convinced of Kazuhiko's abilities. He truly deserves to be called the pioneer of psychological medicine. They knew all about my psychological problems that I was too embarrassed to talk about, and understood the pressure and hardship I faced as a genius of the Uchiha clan. Dr. Kazuhiko, hi. Uchiha Shota's affection for you has increased. I haven't awakened the Sharingan either. Upon hearing this, Shota's eyes lit up, and he immediately felt a deep sense of camaraderie forged in the rain together. Doctor, Kazuhiko is also blind. No wonder he understands me and the Uchiha clan so well. It turns out he had also suffered the scorn of the Hyuga clan, the discrimination of the Konoha villagers, and the hardship of eating commoner food like Ikaraku ramen. I understand now I understand everything. Uchiha Shota's affection for you has increased significantly to trust. Tune in level entry draw, chance, +1. Heian was speechless. I didn't even know what I was doing, and you're already so happy about it. But I believe that everyone has their own unique talents, and you are no exception. Affection level increases. The rise is a bit slow. We need to increase our efforts. And I'm 3 years older than you. Shota caught the sensitive word, and his eyes lit up. Doctor, Kazuhiko is suffering. He's so old and still hasn't seen the light. He can only be an ordinary psychologist. An 18-year-old medical ninja. So tragic, so incredibly tragic. I deeply sympathize with you. Shota Uchiha's affection for you has increased dramatically. I've been caught in the rain myself, and I just like it when others get caught in the rain with you. Heian was speechless. As expected of the born evil Uchiha brat, I'll use my talk no jutsu to completely subdue you. He forced a smile and continued to deceive. Power is not just about the sharing, it also resides in the human heart. I firmly believe that even an ordinary genin, in Konoha alone, can cast a huge shadow over the ninja world. Shota nodded emphatically, completely agreeing. Even a genin can shine, so I'm a chunin. Moreover, he passed the exam with excellent results, was certified by Omura, and became a powerful chunin of the Uchiha clan. Affection level increases. The key is that you became a chunin genius by your own efforts, without relying on the sharingen or your father, the security captain. You did it step by step. When the sensitive word appeared, Shota couldn't help but smile. My father, the garrison captain, who doesn't rely on himself, is absolutely right. Affection level has increased significantly. Unlike me, I could only become a regular genin thanks to my medical jonin mother. The relative keyword triggered Shota's lips curled up high. He completely lost his mind and became a pouty-lipped person. Doctor, Kazuhiko understands me. He's handsome and has a pleasant voice. I like Dr. Kazuhiko the most. He said he could help me awaken my sharingen. It must be true. You asked him why he didn't open it. Of course, they don't want to open it. What? You said, Doctor. Kazuhiko can't open it. Have you ever been an Uchiha? Don't talk nonsense and make assumptions. There is no such thing as a genius. A genius is simply someone who puts in 99% effort and that 1% of insignificant talent, special reminder. 1%, 99%. Affection level has increased significantly. In short, 1,000 words omitted here. Shota, I will definitely help you awaken the sharingen. Believe me, the future belongs to you. Shota spoke with unwavering certainty. I believe you. I don't trust anyone except my dad now. I only trust you. After seeing off Shota, who had been coaxed into becoming an embryo, Uchiha Kazuhiko hurriedly drank some tea and collapsed onto a recliner, utterly exhausted. From the moment Shota was affected by the illusion, he maintained a high level of illusion throughout the conversation, trying to instill trust in Shota. At this moment, Kazuhiko's chakra was completely depleted, and he felt as if his body had been hollowed out. However, the rewards were still quite substantial. Kazuhiko smiled and began to sense the deep blue in his mind. Uchiha Shota's affection for you has increased. Rising to best friend. Tune in level entry draw, chance, +1. A significant increase. Elevated to entrustment, fighting side by side, you will build a bond, sharing both joy and sorrow. There's no need to say anything when we're in trouble. We're brothers in our hearts. Tune in level entry draw, chance, +1. Tune in entry draw chance, 10. I can do another 10 pull to get the pity system. Same old routine. I'll pull for the stats on Shisui's character. Show me the Sharingen. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river. Never underestimate a young person's potential. Wait a minute, this is the Hokage, an 18-year-old genin. Ah. Maybe we shouldn't underestimate a poor middle-aged man. Chapter 2, Jishui's exclusive. Uchiha Kazuhiko focused his consciousness into his mind and looked at the shimmering, deep blue light. The books that resembled a spectrum silently unfolded, and streaks of light floated out from the pages, hovering above them. Shuriken throw, white. Uchiha-style smile, white. Paranoia, white. Fire release, great fireball technique, green. Warm man, white. 5 entries in a row, 4 white and 1 green, made Yan's eyelids twitch. Shuriken throwing slightly improves the accuracy of ninja tool throwing. It's better than nothing. Uchiha-style smile. Description: a signature smile will make you more confident. More confident, huh? Then can I laugh as confidently as the 4 heroes? Paranoia enhances focus, but it can also lead to getting stuck on minor details, a typical Uchiha debuff. Warm-hearted man. In the ranking of relationships, this word has to be ranked after dogs. Even dogs don't use it. Without a second thought, Kazuhiko categorized the warm-hearted man as someone who could be recycled. Is Shisui a warm-hearted guy? Judging from his actions towards Itachi, he probably is. This entry's description and evaluation are quite interesting. Description: you will possess the mindset of a warm-hearted man, knowing how to fully fulfill his fantasies of being pampered, immersing him, in a blissful state of being cared for, making him, unable to extricate herself. Comment: a true warm-hearted man shows exclusive affection. A fake warm-hearted man is like a public air conditioner. Only devoted gentleness is true, unconditional love. Indiscriminate displays of kindness only make one a player. This entry is usable. It's true that warm-hearted men are ranked after dogs, but playboys are a different story. Kazuhiko looked at the only green entry. Great fireball technique. It's a pity it's a ninjutsu I already know, but it can increase the speed and power of hand seals, so at least it's useful. I drew 4 white cards and 1 green card in my first 5 draws. Did I draw from the Shisui-themed gacha pool? I need to have my license checked. The deep blue color pattern flickered, and the remaining entries appeared. Uchiha fluid technique, green. Negative pessimism, green. Will of fire, blue. Exam mastery, green. The strongest geniuses I power, Shisui's exclusive, purple. Purple, I'll blanch it. There's nothing wrong with the cards. Kazuhiko suddenly sat up and exclaimed in surprise. He had been in this world for 3 months and had tried all 3 gacha pools, low, medium, and high. He couldn't even get a blue card without relying on the pity system, let alone a purple one. Today, he got Shisui's exclusive purple stat directly. He was definitely surprised and couldn't wait to check the stat description. Uchiha fluid technique increases speed and reaction time, and it's a taijutsu technique I haven't mastered yet, which can make up for my weakness in taijutsu. It's practical. Negative keywords include pessimism, which amplifies inferiority and anxiety. It can be used as a trigger for emotional fluctuations to help other Uchiha awaken their sharingen. It is usable. Mastering exams, improving reading comprehension. That's rubbish. The guaranteed blue attribute glowed with a warm light, and the words "will of fire" flickered on the page. Description: where leaves dance, fire burns eternally. Having fully comprehended the will of fire, your sense of belonging and desire to protect Konoha greatly increases, rendering you incapable of doing anything to harm the village or the Hokage. Your combat power is comprehensively enhanced when in Konoha settings, completing village missions, or with Konoha comrades. Unable to harm the village or the Hokage. This blue-tier guarantee is basically useless. What Uchiha Kazuhiko least needs from Konoha is a sense of belonging and a desire to protect. His entire family are Uchiha, and in 2 years they will be wiped out under the orders of the Konoha leadership. If he can't harm the village or the Hokage, then he's basically doomed. This term is annoying whether I use it myself or assign it to someone else. I'll save it for when I become Hokage. Kazuhiko's gaze fell upon the deep purple light, surrounded by wisps of golden light. The strongest genius's eye power, Shisui's exclusive purple. Description: the profound ocular power of the strongest genius will make your Sharingan even more powerful. Hidden, even with only one eye remaining, you can still activate Susanoo. Shisui's exclusive skill, Susanoo activated with a single eye. The power of this term is self-evident. Susanoo, the ultimate eye technique that can only be unlocked by the Mangekaiwu Sharingan, is a symbol of the Uchiha clan's invincibility. Even someone as powerful as Madara needs both eyes to pilot a Gundam. In the original work, only Shisui activated Susanoo with only one Mangekaiwu Sharingan. Is this the power of Shisui, the #1 genius of the Uchiha clan? I, Uchiha Kazuhiko, hereby acknowledge you as the strongest Chunin gacha. Kazuhiko was pleasantly surprised and couldn't wait to get up and walk towards the washroom. He wanted to see what kind of changes the purple entry would bring him. Equipment attribute, the eye power of the strongest genius Shisui exclusive purple. With a thought, the purple light immediately surged into the deep blue, firmly imprinting itself on the title page representing Uchiha Kazuhiko. Replace with abundant chakra green. Equipment attribute, the strongest genius's eye power Shisui exclusive purple. Condition for permanent entry, awaken the 3-tomo Sharingan. As the equipment was successfully equipped, a warm current flowed into Uchiha Kazuhiko's eyes, causing his eyeballs to heat up and tears to well up involuntarily. The information on the ninja book also changed accordingly. Name Uchiha Kazuhiko. Age 18. Rank Genin. Attributes Fire Yang Yin. Chakra 0.25 calories, 0.4 calories. Ninjutsu, Chakra Healing Technique, Hemostasis Technique, Mild Healing Technique, Genjutsu Hypnosis, Great Fireball Technique, 3 Body Techniques, Transformation, Substitution, Clone. Permanent Abilities, Phoenix Flower Technique, Chakra Sensing Mastery, Genjutsu Mastery. Equipment Attributes 2-2. Sharing and Hypnotic Illusion, Blue. The strongest genius's eye power, Shisui's exclusive purple. Conditions for permanent entry. Sharing and Hypnotic Illusion. Awaken the Sharingan and master the flow of Genjutsu Chakra. The strongest genius's eye power, Shisui's exclusive, awakening the 3-tomo Sharingan. Chance of drawing a movie-level keyword, 0. Championship chance to draw the Jonin title, 5. Chunin entry draw chance, 0. Chance of drawing the Genin entry, 3. Equipable affixes, Abundant Chakra, green, permanent progress, retain 9-10. Uchiha Fluid Technique, green. Husbandly Aura, green. Warm-hearted man, white. Pacifism, white. Soon, the strange phenomenon disappeared, and Kazuhiko's blurred vision returned to normal. He looked at himself in the mirror and could see every detail clearly without glasses. His eyes, which were originally severely nearsighted, were now incredibly clear. The reflection in the mirror showed a sharp, piercing gaze, with brows like knives and a high nose bridge, exuding the sharp and heroic spirit of the Uchiha clan. In addition to improving eyesight, it also increased some chakra levels. The effect of the debuff is very strong, and it's definitely worth pulling from the Chunin pool, but Kazuhiko Uchiha not only lacked the Mangekyou Sharingan, but he hadn't even awakened the basic Sharingan. I can't use the power of this entry for now, but it will definitely be a powerful trump card in the future. Not to mention, its ability to enhance the Sharingan is quite useful. Once the Uchiha clan awakens the Sharingan, their strength undergoes a qualitative change. Their chakra increases, and they gain the abilities of perception, genjutsu, and copying. When combined with the eye power of the strongest genius, they will have the ability to protect themselves and won't have to worry about being hit by 8 kunai and committing suicide one day. The original owner of this body was a medical genin who, during a mission, was on the verge of death and broke the mystery of her birth, thus becoming the current Uchiha Kazuhiko. It can only be said that the third generation is truly inhumane, forcing children and doctors to go to the battlefield, with the main principle being to treat everyone equally. This timeline is 3 years after the Ninetales invasion. Because the older generation all cleverly concealed themselves during the invasion, giving the younger generation the opportunity to shine, the result was, with the fourth Hokage dead and countless lower-ranking ninjas of Konoha killed or wounded, the third Hokage made a glorious appearance as the protagonist, reassuming the position of Hokage and vowing to rebuild the village and make Konoha great again. Uchiha Kazuhiko, whose parents are still alive, is furious, because he knew that under the wise leadership of 3 generations, the Senju clan has vanished without a trace. The Uchiha clan is under surveillance and suppression. The core group that founded Konoha is about to be wiped out, and even cage-level fighters such as the 4th Hokage, Might Guy, and Sakumo Hatake have all died. Konoha can only have one son every 3 generations, and only a loyal dog can achieve greatness alongside it. Brackets excluding loyal dog family members, brackets completed. Since his Uchiha identity couldn't be changed, and he had inherited everything from his predecessor, Kazuhiko could only say, "It is our inescapable duty to protect the glory of the Uchiha clan." In his past life, he played Yasuo and couldn't take care of his parents. Now that he has a second chance, he will definitely cherish it and work hard to change his and his family's fate. Establishing a mental health clinic to gain favor and enhance strength, while simultaneously reforming the minds of Shisui and Itachi, are Kazuhiko's current priorities. Regardless of the outcome, improving our strength is definitely the right thing to do. Kazuhiko washed away his tears with water. His depleted chakra was slowly recovering. He returned to the recliner, closed his eyes, and focused his mind, silently calculating. A genin can only equip 2 attributes at a time. The sharing and mental illusion can be used at any time and takes up 1 equipment slot. The permanent condition for chakra abundance is about to be met, freeing up 1 equipment slot. Don't rush to equip yourself with shuriken throwing and fireball techniques. Uchiha fluid manipulation techniques can be used as an alternative. The terms will of fire, paranoia, and pessimism are temporarily saved. As for Shisui's exclusive purple attribute, it's my strongest trump card, and I need to extract the Sharingan as soon as possible. He has both parents, a happy family, and isn't love-struck. It will be a pipe dream for him to open his Sharingan on his own, so he can only obtain it by extracting entries. Once his chakra levels returned to a safe level, Kazuhiko's mental health clinic resumed operations. Soon there was a knock on the office door. Knock, 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 tilde. Enter. A small Uchiha walked in and said very politely, "Kyunishiwa, I'm Uchiha Itachi, who has an appointment for a medical consultation. Sorry to bother you." Chapter 3. We must force-feed the weasel until it's as soft as a cream puff. 7-year-old Itachi Uchiha can be described as cute, with a slightly childish face, but he has already graduated from the Ninja Academy and has witnessed the cruelty of war. Moreover, after being trained by Shisui, the #1 genius of the Uchiha clan, his strength far surpasses that of ordinary genin. Don't be shy, sit down. Uchiha Kazuhiko put on his glasses, calmed his breathing, and began to talk. He had been prepared for Itachi's arrival. Although the other party is still a child, he is the culprit who will eventually wipe out the Uchiha clan. He is a brother-supporting demon who will sacrifice the entire clan at the slightest disagreement, so he must be treated with caution. Although I thought Itachi was pretty cool while watching the anime, I was even a little moved at the end. But if you look at Itachi from the perspective of the Uchiha clan, it's a different story. That kind of person is insane. Is it even human to exterminate an entire clan to save one's brother? Or are you saying that the Uchiha who were killed weren't human? Moreover, it's one thing to eliminate ninjas, but to commit genocide against ordinary Uchiha who haven't even awakened their Sharingan is pure animalistic behavior. Therefore, Kazuhiko's attitude toward Itachi is very clear. This kind of mental illness requires psychological treatment. It is necessary to exert a strong influence on its thinking, deeply reform it, brand it with the Uchiha mark, and mold it into a cream puff. Of course, if you can't get it, you have to destroy it. Have some tea. You're the Uchiha Itachi who's known for having Hokage-like thinking, right? Itachi accepted the teacup with both hands, remaining expressionless even after hearing Kazuhiko's praise. You flatter me, third Hokage. I still have a long way to go. Jai Shui told me that you have something on your mind that you can't let go of. You can talk to me about it. He cares a lot about your affairs. Uchiha Kazuhiko sat opposite Itachi, smiling as he looked at him. Steam rose from the teacups on the table, slightly blurring the view between the two. Behind his black-rimmed glasses, Kazuhiko's eyes seemed to shimmer with chakra. Sharingan Genjutsu, hypnotic illusion activated. Judging from Itachi's behavior, it's obviously impossible for a stranger to open up to him through conversation. After all, even his own parents couldn't know Itachi's true thoughts and died by his sword. Therefore, the only way to reform Itachi's mindset is through Genjutsu. Itachi vaguely remembered talking to the doctor for a long time before ending the conversation and leaving the clan clinic. Outside, Uchiha Shisui, whom Itachi regarded as his older brother, had been waiting for a long time. He smiled and carried Itachi into the familiar moonlit night. Something seems off. Although Itachi's senses were being misled by the Genjutsu, his ninja instincts made him subconsciously aware of the abnormality. You're very unhappy about returning from this mission. Before Itachi could think, he was drawn to Shisui's words. The familiar voice made Itachi feel inexplicably at ease, and he temporarily forgot his doubts, falling into the illusion woven by Kazuhiko. Itachi himself was gently placed on a recliner and fell asleep peacefully. Kazuhiko mimicked Shisui's tone and began to speak. Tell me why you're unhappy. It'll make you feel much better if you can talk to someone. The ninjas of Kumagakure have no moral bottom line. They slaughter ordinary people and kill children. And we have to do the same thing. I don't understand why we're doing all this. To find the answer to this question, you need to ask yourself, what is the essence of this matter? What is its fundamental purpose? And why are you doing the same thing? Why do such a thing? Yeah, what is it all for? Uchiha Kazuhiko stared at Itachi, whose eyes were darting rapidly beneath his eyelids, indicating that Itachi's emotions were fluctuating greatly and he might wake up at any moment. He clasped his hands together and began to form hand seals to amplify the illusion. Wu Mao Yin Wei Si Chen. The Sharingan's genjutsu, when used by the Uchiha, requires no hand seals, making it extremely difficult to defend against on the battlefield. If there is a level difference between the two sides, it can easily result in an instant kill. However, within the Uchiha clan, there are naturally exclusive genjutsu seals that amplify the Sharingan's genjutsu, used to enhance the effects of genjutsu and defeat enemies of higher levels. Because of the mission. Because of the war. The weasel's eyes slowed their movement, and it muttered to itself. War robs people of their humanity, and the missions they had to complete turned ninjas into killing machines. Wrong. It's greed. That's the essence of all evil. Kazuhiko spoke with conviction, forcefully conveying the ideas he wanted to express. The massacre of the innocent was merely a side effect. Peeling back the fog of war, the hidden cloud village coveted the rich lands of the Land of Fire, so they launched the war. The hidden leaf village monopolized all the high-profit missions, which led other ninja villages to wage war. The villages dispatched ninjas on killing missions in order to completely crush the enemy and achieve victory. Greed is at play on all sides here. Where there are people, there will be greed. Itachi, aren't your eyes also searching for what you're looking for? Itachi frowned slightly. Greed. What do I want? What are my eyes searching for? Suddenly, Itachi's chakra began to swirl chaotically. He jolted awake and sat up, his eyes wide open, staring blankly at Uchiha Kazuhiko, who was still in a hand-seal posture. After a moment of silence, Itachi suddenly realized something and said firmly, I want peace. Whether it's between nations or between the Uchiha and Konoha. I want peace. I don't want any more innocent people to die before my eyes. It's a deal. I hope you will always remember what you said today. To be able to break free from the amplified genjutsu, he truly deserves to be called a genius of the new generation of the Uchiha clan. Kazuhiko wasn't embarrassed. He released the seal and casually served tea and water. Very ambitious, but it won't be easy to accomplish what you're talking about. This doctor, Itachi stood up, met Uchiha Kazuhiko's gaze, and said seriously, Thank you so much for helping me find the answer to my problem, but I really dislike your treatment methods. Itachi's face showed undisguised disgust. If the psychotherapy you pioneered is just about using people's trusted people to fool them, then you don't deserve to call yourself a psychologist. Itachi Uchiha's favorability rating drops drastically to dislike. You've toyed with each other. You'll despise each other. Uchiha Itachi's independent affix card pool now open. Chance of drawing the genin title +1. Is it a weasel? They turn on each other at the slightest disagreement. All you did was conjure up Uchiha Shisui and have a chat with him. Why make such a fuss? No wonder you activated the main Jikaio, Sharingan, right after Shisui died. Just wait, I'll use Genjutsu to make Danzo, the third Hokage, Obito, the Sarutobi clan, and everyone who opposes the Uchiha clan slaughter Shisui, and give you a good jolt to activate the main Jikaio Sharingan. Also, I wasn't originally a psychologist. I only became a psychologist in Naruto because you Uchiha lunatics forced me into this profession. Ignoring Itachi's expression, Uchiha Kazuhiko walked back to his rocking chair, took out a form, and began recording Itachi's psychological diagnosis. The causes of mental illness in the Uchiha clan are similar, so even though the conversation was brief, Kazuhiko was able to perfectly write Itachi's psychological diagnosis. It seems that the initial psychological counseling can only go this far. You can take a look at the psychological diagnosis results I gave you later, and we'll follow up with the diagnosis report later. Before Kazuhiko could finish speaking, Itachi got up and walked outside. No need, we won't meet again. World lines are unfolding. Itachi Uchiha. How could my brother admire someone like that? These so-called psychologists are nothing but con artists who use genjutsu to probe into other people's minds. It's a waste of time. The timeline has unfolded. World Line 1. Keeping your word is your ninja way. Never associate with Itachi again. Reward. +1 chance to draw the genin attribute. On the night of the clan massacre, you will be on the leaderboard. World Line 2. What makes a ninja is their ability to endure what ordinary people cannot. Apologize and try to persuade Itachi to stay, admitting your mistakes. Reward. Itachi's favorability increases, +N chance to draw the genin attribute. On the night of the clan massacre, Itachi will mercifully grant you a swift end. World Line 3. Strive to improve Itachi's favorability to at least neutral level. Reward. Permanent ability, robust physique, white, green, blue. On the night of the massacre, you have a chance to use robust physique to wear down his ninja sword. A robust physique, slightly medium, significantly improves your constitution, recovery, and chakra. Rewards will be given based on the level of favorability gained. Okay. Chapter 4. Love your sister-in-law or gold. Uchiha Kazuhiko was initially delighted to see the triggered World Line mission, but then couldn't help but complain. So, no matter what I do, you think I'll become a victim of Itachi's sword? Are you trying to look down on me, fat tiger, with this task? I refuse to believe that with my amazing perseverance and life's insights, I can't change my fate or save the Uchiha clan. I'll let Obito and Danzo come together then, and I'll avoid their sharp edge. I choose 3. I want to test whether Itachi Uchiha's blade is as sharp as my upright and unyielding spirit. HMPH tilde. Itachi's Tsunobu-esque remarks and the World Line mission made Kazuhiko chuckle. Want to make a bet? I bet you'll definitely come back obediently and take the diagnosis report. Itachi turned around, glanced at Kazuhiko sideways, and then turned and left, leaving behind a proud silhouette. An 18-year-old genin. If you weren't a medical ninja recommended by Shisui, you wouldn't even be qualified to see me. HMPH. Looks like you're too scared to bet with me. Itachi remained silent and quickly disappeared through the office door. Generally speaking, the method of provocation is extremely effective against the Uchiha clan. As is well known, Uchiha clan ninjas are all competitive types. Even if they can't win physically, they would never admit defeat verbally, like Obito. If you can beat me, then I'm sorry, I'll have to shine your shoes, French accent, representative character, Sasuke. Itachi's complete indifference to provocation is truly rare among the Uchiha. You have personality. I'm starting to like you a little. Okay. In the clinic lobby, Itachi immediately spotted Uchiha Shisui waiting for him. For Itachi, Shisui was his older brother, someone he could completely trust. That's why Itachi came here to get a strange, psychological diagnosis. He was furious at the thought of Kazuhiko using illusion magic to transform into Shisui. In Itachi's eyes, this clumsy imitation was undoubtedly a desecration of his own brother. Itachi walked over to Shisui, who was observing the crowd, and sat down next to him in tacit understanding. Together, they stared blankly at the flow of people at the clinic. This scene, which might seem utterly boring to outsiders, was something Itachi inexplicably enjoyed. He didn't know what Shisui was looking at, but he liked the feeling of being with the two of them. He could let down his guard without worrying about the outside world or the pressure of being a genius. Instead of leaning back in the chair, Itachi braced himself on the edge with both hands, kicking his little feet in a relaxed manner, completely emptying his mind. Shisui turned his head and saw this scene, then smiled. The psychological diagnosis seems to be working quite well. Thinking of Uchiha Kazuhiko, Itachi pursed his lips and didn't reply. After all, he was the doctor recommended by Shisui, and he couldn't speak ill of him to his face. So he changed the subject. The crowd doesn't seem very interesting. Shisui looked at the crowd in the hall. Oh, I'm thinking about something. What? Even though the Konoha Hospital headquarters has a higher level of medical care and more medical ninjas, the Uchiha always crowd into the clan clinics and wait in long lines rather than go to the headquarters for treatment. Why is that? Itachi continued kicking his little feet, completely unwilling to think. Shisui rarely gets a break from the Anbu, so every moment the two spend together is precious. So let's leave this kind of thinking to the other person. Because our Uchiha clan is sick. Is the Uchiha clan sick? Itachi's face showed confusion. Shisui smiled. Isn't that an interesting point? He pointed to the crowd queuing in front of him and continued. I asked them, and they told me reasons such as we come here because we trust our own people more, we hate being gossiped about, and Uchiha ninjas are put at the back of the line when they go to the hospital headquarters. The reasons seemed strange, but the essence was actually, our Uchiha clan is sick. As Kazuhiko-san said, we must see through the phenomenon to the essence. The reason for this phenomenon is that our Uchiha clan and the entire Konoha are sick. He-Yanji. Itachi frowned slightly. What kind of person was he to deserve being called brother by Shisui? And what kind of bizarre theory is this? The Uchiha and Konoha aren't human, so how could they get sick? Shisui was oblivious to Itachi's dislike, engrossed in Kazuhiko's theories and talking eloquently. We were born in Konoha and were taught to love Konoha, but we were treated as internal enemies who could rebel at any time, and were isolated, monitored, and discriminated against by Konoha. Our Uchiha clan has been labeled as dangerous elements, and for various reasons, clan members have gradually developed a fixed mindset that the whole world is against us. This has led to extreme distrust of the outside world among clan members, trapping them within the small Uchiha circle. It is this sense of identity rupture, abandonment, and paranoid perception that has made all of us Uchiha sick. To use Kazuhiko's diagnosis as an example, Shisui looked at Itachi, who had stopped kicking, and said, "We all have psychological problems and need psychologists." This is the original intention of Kazuhiko-san in starting psychological therapy, and it is also the reason why I insisted on bringing you here. Itachi opened his mouth, but suddenly didn't know what to say. Putting himself in his shoes, he realized that the problem troubling him was indeed like that. Itachi was confused about whether he should love Konoha, the Uchiha clan, or his older and younger brothers. He wanted to maintain the peace and tranquility of Konoha village forever. However, the clan members were constantly at odds with Konoha, and radicals would occasionally shout slogans such as seizing power by force and supporting a coup. On one side is Sasuke's peaceful and happy life in Konoha, and on the other side are his parents and clansmen who are preparing to seize power. This is the root of Itachi and Shisui's pain. They are Konoha people, but they are also Uchiha people. So when the third Hokage presented Itachi with the multiple-choice question, "Do you love Konoha or the Uchiha clan?" Itachi's condition worsened, his brain completely shut down, and he chose to love Konoha. To use an inappropriate analogy, do you love your sister-in-law more or the gold? Because of his lack of education, Itachi chose to love gold, and as a result, he lost both the gold and the people. The ideology that Uchiha Kazuhiko is trying to instill in them is, simply put, to make them love Konoha, where the Uchiha clan resides, which is also the direction that Shisui has always wanted to strive for. Kazuhiko speculated that it was precisely because of this obsession that Shisui activated Kotomatsu Kami, which can rewrite the will of others, after witnessing the death of his comrades, in an attempt to achieve the ultimate goal of Konoha having Uchiha clan leader Fugaku. Unfortunately, they were ambushed by Danzo and their mission failed. However, even if Shisui successfully controlled Fugaku, the war between the Uchiha and Konoha was ultimately unavoidable. Because Tobirama Senju had deeply implanted the theory that Uchiha equals Hamas into Konoha. Even if Shisui used Kotomatsu Kami to stop the Uchiha's bloodless revolution, Konoha would not stand idly by and allow Hamas, who had awakened the Mangekairu Sharingan, to continue leading the Uchiha clan. After witnessing the terrifying power of Kotomatsu Kami, the Uchiha clan's destruction will only accelerate. Because those Konoha high-ranking officials who held the belief that Uchiha equals Hamas only feared that Kotomatsu Kami would affect them, making them even more anxious and apprehensive. Therefore, it's not enough to just discipline Shisui and Itachi. The entire Konoha leadership also needs to be disciplined. How can we get them to the hospital headquarters? Itachi crossed his arms, looked at the crowd, and began to ponder, or rather, how do we cure the Uchiha's illness? This is a complicated issue. But as Brother Yan said, we must stand tall, promote unity, strive for equality, and uphold justice. Stand up straight, what does that mean? The Sharingan of the Uchiha clan is the source of our confidence to stand tall. It is this power that allows our clan members to avoid being bullied and Konoha to be spared the ravages of war. Chapter 5. My Medical Ninja Mother. After finishing his day's work, Uchiha Kazuhiko returned to the center of the clan's territory, to Iri's courtyard. The courtyard is small, but once you push open the door, you'll find flowers and trees, creating a pleasant scene. Meanwhile, Iri, the protagonist of My Medical Jonin Mother, is sitting under the veranda, watching her father, Uchiha Hideki, prune the cherry blossom branches. Iri Uchiha is 42 years old this year and has experienced 2 shinobi world wars. Perhaps because she is a medical ninja, she looks much younger than an ordinary middle-aged woman. Mom, you look so beautiful today. Your hair looks so young when you tie it up. Yan's lips were sweet as honey, and she praised him without hesitation. Iri glanced at Kazuhiko, her expression blank. You're so sweet-talking, it's never good news, she said, then continued to instruct her husband. Don't cut too many cherry blossoms outside. I want next year's cherry blossom rain to be more spectacular. Seeing that her husband hadn't done anything wrong, Iri turned to her son and asked, So, what did you do this time? Kazuhiko's family is a typical Uchiha family. Whoever has the bigger fist has the right to speak. Iri was practically the only queen in the courtyard. Kazuhiko and his Chunin father combined could be instantly killed by a single glance from Iri. Mom, look at you. Can't your son even say a few words of praise to you? After Kazuhiko finished speaking, he rolled up his sleeves and went to the cherry blossom tree, ready to lend a hand and show off his skills. His mother was his biggest support and the main source of his ninjutsu and Uchiha secret techniques. Dad, what should I do? Without even glancing at Kazuhiko, Dad Hideki said indifferently, I left you some food. Don't come and cause me trouble. Hideki, a handsome middle-aged man, is an absolute stay-at-home dad and the ultimate housework expert. He is the man who silently supports Iri as she moves forward. She is also an exceptional husband with the attribute husband-like charm, and a succubus from the Uchiha clan who can make a domineering Jonin fall in love with me. However, on the other hand, at the Kazuhiko family, Iri, the mother, is the head of the family, followed by Kazuhiko, then Kurazumi, the ninja cat, and Hideki, the father, is ranked after the cat. There's no need to elaborate on the order of the family's younger siblings. Seeing that his parents didn't like him, Yan obediently went back to the living room to eat. He had expended a lot of energy throughout the day and needed to replenish it. Iri watched her son's retreating figure, thinking to herself, that brat wants money again. Clearly, Iri is no different from an ordinary housewife, in essence. If her son suddenly showers her with sweet words, her first reaction isn't happiness, but rather wondering what he's up to now, or if he's gotten into trouble outside. Or is he just trying to ask his mother for money again? It can't be that I'm dressed really young and beautiful today, can it? Iri shook her head, arriving at an affirmative answer. That brat definitely wants money again. Yan had no idea what his mother was thinking about him, so he sat down at the table and started eating. 4 dishes and a soup, 2 meat dishes and 2 vegetable dishes. It's Dad's cooking. Ah, happiness Tilda, Kazuhiko exclaimed contentedly. This is the Hokage, and it's rare to find a family like the Kazuhiko family that can live such a wonderful and fulfilling life. From the Hokage to ordinary people, almost all those who made a name for themselves in the ninja world had their own misfortunes. So even though he is a time traveler, he is actually very grateful to his current parents. At least in his memory, he was never starved at home growing up. He climbed trees, caught fish, got into trouble, was beaten, and suffered the same discrimination and bullying as the protagonist. He had a childhood that Naruto and Sasuke envied to the point of tears. It's so bad that even entering the infinite Tsukuyomi would be superfluous. It's a bit of a waste of Madara's chakra. Therefore, Kazuhiko must severely discipline the Uchiha clan and Konoha village to protect this precious home. Since we're all transmigrators, we should at least ensure that our loved ones live peaceful and happy lives. Kazuhiko shoveled his food into his mouth, thinking as he ate. We must quickly enhance our strength and build our own power base, the sooner the better. We also have to be wary of Danzo, the Konoha leadership, and Obito Uchiha. Don't let someone else successfully train Shisui and Itachi, only to have another person secretly team up with Obito to commit genocide. After all, Itachi wasn't the only main force on the night of the massacre. Kazuhiko doesn't understand what Obito, with his ultimate love-obsessed mind, is thinking, nor does he want to understand. The 4th Hokage and his wife, as well as the Uchiha clan, hadn't wronged him, yet he killed them all. It was pure, animalistic behavior. However, now is not the time to worry about Obito. By helping Shota awaken his sharing and without injury, I can prove that my psychological medicine is scientifically feasible. At that time, I will be able to gain some power within the clan and attract the attention of the clan leader, Uchiha Fugaku. If Fugaku had already awakened the Mangekai of Sharingan at this point and possessed cage-level strength, then he would have a way to obtain the opportunity to draw cage-level entries. In fact, the Jonin title can greatly improve strength, but unfortunately I am too weak. Apart from relying on my mother and the talkative Shisui, it is difficult to gain the respect of other Jonin. To forge iron, one must first be strong oneself. We must first transform the extracted keywords into real strength as quickly as possible. After finishing his meal, Kazuhiko immediately slipped back to his room and began refining his chakra. Chakra needs to be guided by the mind. It is extracted from the 130 trillion cells in the body, and then merged with mental energy to form chakra, which circulates continuously in the meridians. The strength of a person's cells and meridians determines the amount of their chakra. In terms of chakra reserves, Hashirama Senju, the god of ninjas, was in a class of his own, comparable to a human-shaped tailed beast. This is why, even after Hashirama's death many years ago, his cells were still able to remain active and benefit the ninja world. The abundant chakra kept Hashirama's cells full of vitality and life. Hashirama, I'm dead. Cell, no, I don't. Uchiha Kazuhiko's cell and meridian strength was rather poor. The original owner was a weakling who was a medical genin for thousands of years, with his chakra level remaining at 0.25 chakra for years. It was only after equipping the chakra abundance that he began to slowly increase his chakra level and break through the limit. At this moment, Kazuhiko changed into the item with the attribute Abundant Chakra Green and tried his best to refine his chakra to its peak state to meet the conditions for permanent fixation. As the refining process progressed, he felt streams of heat surging through his body, filling every cell in his body with warmth and fullness. The Shisui Stop Water attribute increased his chakra reserves to 0.4 calories, which greatly accelerated the chakra refining process. If his chakra extraction speed at 0.25 calories was like a small stream, then his extraction efficiency at this point has evolved into a small river beginning to take shape. He stopped cultivating only when his cells and meridians began to swell and could no longer bear any more. Chakra amount plus 0.1, chakra 0.5 kcal. Abundant chakra green, entry permanently fixed. After a period of persistent training, his chakra reserves finally reached their peak, beyond which there was no further improvement, reaching an astonishing genin limit. The peak of the 9th dan of chakra. Uchiha Kazuhiko now feels incredibly strong. He opened his eyes, loosely clenched his fists and bent them upwards, causing his arm muscles to swell with blood, and a sense of power to break through everything arose spontaneously. The power of chakra is truly fascinating. Chapter 6, My Difficult Heaven. Only half a calorie was used, and I've already reached my limit again. Is this talent really my mother's biological child? Uchiha Kazuhiko began to doubt his lineage. As an Uchiha, questioning everything is an instinct ingrained in my genes. As is widely known, in the Naruto world, power can only be transmitted through blood, master-disciple relationships, and cells. According to this theory, Kazuhiko has reason to doubt whether he is his biological son. After all, he has a mother who is a medical ninja. Moreover, he was a powerful Uchiha who had awakened the three-tomo Sharingan. I inherited my mother's medical talent, so she must be my biological daughter without a doubt. The Sharingan, the bloodline limit of the Uchiha clan, naturally possesses yin attribute chakra, while medical ninjutsu represents yang attribute chakra. Being able to possess both yin and yang attributes simultaneously is as rare as a panda in the Uchiha clan. The only explanation is that I haven't awakened my Sharingan. If the Uchiha clan awakens their Sharingan, their strength will experience an explosive increase. Whether it's chakra reserves, perception, or ninjutsu, taijutsu, or genjutsu, all will be greatly enhanced. Kazuhiko couldn't help but look forward to the day he would open his eyes. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river. Clearly, a chakra level of 1-2 car is only average, let alone among the Uchiha clan, and even among cannon fodder genin. Letter, Chinese 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 letter. 6 Chinese letter, 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 2-3, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, 1/3-1/2 Chi. From this perspective, Kazuhiko's Uchiha lineage is completely broken. If it weren't for the chakra entries, even though they were both at the genin limit, his 0.25 chakra reserves were half that of others. I don't even want to think about how much bullying and scorn I would have suffered if it weren't for my medical ninja mother. As everyone knows, in version 2, the Konoha villagers treat everyone equally and bully everyone fairly. Whether you're a princess of the Hyuga clan or a loser of the Uchiha clan, if you don't live up to expectations, you'll be bullied. I'm just like the keyboard warriors on the internet in my past life. In real life, I'm timid and submissive, but when I'm typing on the keyboard, I'm full of vigor and ambition. The sharing and hypnotic genjutsu and Shisui's exclusive attributes cannot be solidified at the moment. They can only be equipped and used. We will continue to solidify other attributes. Equipment attribute. Uchiha Fluid Technique, green. Uchiha Fluid Technique. Scientific Taijutsu training enhances the speed and reaction time of the Uchiha Fluid Technique, making it superior to ordinary Taijutsu. Permanent entry requirements. Mastery of basic Taijutsu and proficiency in Uchiha Fluid techniques. The instant the equipment affixes appear, all of Shisui's memories, feelings, and experiences from practicing physical techniques flooded into Kazuhiko's mind, lingering there as if calluses had been etched onto his brain and muscles. The sweat left by the opponent during boxing practice, the pounding of the heart when the body is nearing its limit, and the soreness in the muscles. The Uchiha Fluid technique suddenly became clear in his mind. If he wanted, he could imitate the cat at any time, using the memories and experiences etched in his mind, as well as the conditioned reflexes of his muscles, to use the Uchiha Fluid technique. Is this all the insights Shisui gained about the Uchiha Fluid technique? Following Shisui's memories and experience, Kazuhiko began practicing physical techniques, dodging, blocking, and throwing punches. Completely immersed in it, completely focused. The thrill of constantly getting stronger made him oblivious to the passage of time, and he became completely addicted. However, this state of flow was quickly broken. His declining physical fitness and lack of physical training caused his progress in practicing martial arts to slow down rapidly, making it impossible for him to continue replicating Shisui's movement rhythm. Even so, Uchiha Kazuhiko was very satisfied with his progress. At this rate, it might take less than 3 days to permanently solidify the Uchiha Fluid technique. It will be very quick. Am I a martial arts prodigy? How about we try drawing the 8 gates formation first? Heian threw himself into bed and drifted off to sleep. Clinic office, mental health clinic. Uchiha Kazuhiko held his teacup, skimmed off the non-existent foam, and calmly drank his tea. Uchiha Shota, who was returning for a visit, was sitting opposite him, chatting about his experiences at the Ninja Academy. Hyuga is already satisfied. He's a genius from the Hyuga branch family, and also my strongest rival at school. Before I met him, everyone said I was exceptionally talented, a rare genius. Even the Grand Elder's grandson wasn't my match. I was invincible among my peers, unrivaled among those the same age. Kazuhiko took another sip of tea and gave him an impressive look, indicating his approval. Uchiha Shota's affection level increases. When I entered the Ninja Academy, my father said that everyone who could come here had special talents and was a chosen one of heaven. I was still not afraid and stood out in the entrance exam, making a name for myself. Kazuhiko nodded. Kicking Konoha kindergarten, a very good historical achievement. At this point, Shota's eyes darted around, but then I met someone I'll never forget, Hinata Kozo. One more character appears in the illusionary realm. However, for your mental health's sake, you should forget about this Hinata guy. You can't grasp LGBT issues. Hyuga is enough. He's a genius from the Hyuga branch family. Whether it's theoretical grades or practical skills, he always easily surpasses me, making it hard for me to breathe. In just a year and a half, he graduated from the Ninja Academy with his Byakugan, and then quickly passed the Chunin exams. He joined the Anbu with the best score in the Chunin exams. That year, the Anbu only recruited one ninja from a ninja clan. And in the Chunin exams the following year, I lost to another genius from the Hyuga clan. If I had been able to lead my team to victory against the Hyuga back then, perhaps I could have joined the Anbu and continued to catch up with the Hyuga. No if. Uchiha Kazuhiko gave himself a negative answer. Hyuga joining the Anbu is an honor for his family and a service to the village. The higher-ups welcome him with open arms, and the Byakugan's abilities are perfectly suited to the Anbu's core mission. You Uchiha join the Anbu, you are a lackey of Konoha, a spy for Hamas, despised by your clan and suspected by the higher-ups. And most importantly, after the Nine Tails rampage, the Anbu would not recruit any Uchiha clan ninjas. Shisui was an exception. He was an intermediary recruited by the third Hokage into the Anbu to appease the Uchiha clan. Tell me about your father. I've read his resume. He made great contributions to Konoha and our Uchiha clan. He was an outstanding ninja. Kazuhiko continued to guide Shota, controlling the pace of the conversation. Thanks to Shota's extremely high level of affection, their conversation became incredibly simple, requiring no hypnotic guidance using illusion magic, saving them time and effort. Uchiha Shota's affection for you has increased. Itachi Uchiha's affection for you has increased. Aye. It seems like something strange has sneaked in. Chapter 7, Itachi. His thoughts are so powerful. The banks of the Namco River were damp with morning mist. Shisui and Itachi lay side by side on the soft grass. They had just finished their morning exercise, their chests rising and falling slightly and sweat trickling down their foreheads. You asked me yesterday why I called him Doctor and Brother Yan, Jai Shui said suddenly, gazing at the azure sky. It's because he invited me to have a dream. Itachi turned his head to the side. What kind of dream? A dream called If, Shisui smiled, her gaze lingering on the white clouds in the sky. That's what Kazuhiko calls his illusion magic. He paused, his voice softening as if lost in memories. It was also the dream that allowed me to see the truth. The sunlight began to sting. Shisui squinted, recalling the scene of her first walk into that psychological clinic. On a similar morning, sunlight streamed in through the window, illuminating the young man dozing in a deck chair. At that time, he held the investigation report on He Yan and thought that the other party was just a charlatan who deceived the clan. Dr. Kazuhiko. Shisui scanned the sparsely furnished office, his gaze settling on the other person. A psychological clinic, supposedly capable of treating mental illnesses for the Uchiha clan. Kazuhiko opened his eyes, saw the animal mask representing Konoha's Anbu on Shisui's body, and smiled. Genius Jai Shui, a rare guest, please have a seat. No need, I just came to confirm. Shisui remained polite, but her tone carried a hint of detachment. You did not deceive your people. Deception. Kazuhiko stood up and adjusted his glasses. What would I deceive them about? Money. Or ninjutsu? Hope. Shisui looked directly at him. You give hope to those who can't awaken their Sharingan, deceiving them by saying you can help them awaken it. But the Sharingan is the power of bloodline, not. This can't be solved with psychotherapy, Kazuhiko interrupted him. Don't forget Shisui. How did you awaken your Sharingan? The pupil constricts slightly when the water stops flowing. It's the ultimate pain of witnessing a comrade's death, right? Kazuhiko's voice was calm. So you also know that the prerequisite for awakening the Sharingan is emotion. It requires the Uchiha to experience extreme pain, anger, love, hate. Emotions are the key. What I'm doing now is simply helping my people find the key they need. Still waters remain silent. This theory is completely consistent with his personal experience. Moreover, Kazuhiko stood up and walked to the window. You should know better than I do that the Uchiha's problem has never been that they can't open their Sharingan. What is that? Kazuhiko turned around, his gaze sharp as a knife. Even with my eyes opened, I cannot protect the person I want to protect, nor can I reverse the tragedy that has already occurred. Shisui clenched his fists. Kazuhiko took a step closer, his voice softening. You want to protect Itachi. You want to safeguard the peace between the Uchiha and Konoha, right? But you can't do either of those things. What do you mean? Let me show you. Kazuhiko's eyes suddenly swirled with chakra. A dream called if. Eh. Kazuhiko ignored Deep Blue's hints about Itachi, focusing on listening to Shota's speech and pondering how to make the illusion script truly impactful. Itachi's change in attitude towards him was expected. After all, Shisui called him Kazuhiko-nai, and Itachi was just a junior to Kazuhiko. Without Shisui's connection, he wouldn't have rashly used genjutsu to communicate with Itachi. Your father is truly admirable. He was a battle hero who shed blood for Konoha, was wounded at Kanabi Bridge, and rendered service to the 4th Hokage. Uchiha Shota's affection for you has increased. A simple compliment can increase your popularity. That's how approachable we Uchiha are. In fact, by now, Kazuhiko is quite confident that he can help Shota open his eyes without injury, but he still needs to do some preparatory work in order to systematically gain favor. After all, the sharing represents power, and power is the core of Naruto. Kazuhiko's help in mastering this power will definitely earn him a significant amount of goodwill from his clansmen. For example, there's Shota's father, the garrison captain, the hawkish elders who actively promote an arms race, and Fugaku, the clan head who wants the Uchiha clan to grow stronger. These people are at least Jonin. Fugaku, on the other hand, is likely to be a cage-level character who unlocks the kaleidoscope. And what about your mother? I rarely hear you mention her. Behind every successful man stands a woman who silently supports him. Your mother must be a very admirable person. Affection level increases. Uchiha Shota's affection for you has increased to. Bond, you trust each other, and may even become sworn brothers. Tune-in level entry draw, chance, +1. Itachi Uchiha's affection for you has increased to. Disdain, if you mock him, he will despise you even more. Chance of drawing the genin title, +1. Kazuhiko was somewhat surprised, not because of the level of affection associated with the bond. Instead, fluctuating the favorability rating can increase the number of draws. This is the first time I've ever seen anything like it. This country is amazing. This gives us another way to increase the number of entries. Once I become Hokage, I can punish disobedient ninjas with a stick and then give them a treat. The number of draws will skyrocket. During the ensuing conversation, Shota's affection level stagnated, while Itachi's affection level skyrocketed. Uchiha Itachi's affection level towards you has increased to distant. Chance of drawing the genin title, +1. Uchiha Itachi's affection level towards you has increased to neutral. Chance of drawing the genin title, +1. Have you completed the task and claimed the reward? Robust physique, white. No. This is nothing. Even dogs don't want white label entries. No rush, let the bullets fly for a while. At the same time, Shisui was exerting his power, transforming into Kazuhiko's mouth double to instill his thoughts into Itachi. In that dream, the Uchiha were not enemies of Konoha, and Konoha did not have any policies targeting the Uchiha clan. We are not labeled as dangerous individuals, but rather as part of Konoha, as one family. Itachi also longed for the dream Shisui described, but wondered, could such a dream possibly come true? Shisui turned to look at Itachi, his eyes filled with an unprecedented determination. It must come true. For the sake of all Uchiha, this dream must come true. Because besides this what-if dream, he also saw the future dream that Kazuhiko showed him. The future of Konoha, will not include the Uchiha clan. As Brother Yan once said, there should be no distinction between who is superior or inferior, who is noble or lowly, and no one should be excluded or discriminated against. We cannot remain silent, nor can we continue to hide and endure in our ancestral lands. Instead, we must stand up openly and fight for fairness, promote unity, and uphold justice. Tell everyone, the Uchiha also deeply love Konoha and cherish peace. Otherwise, our ancestors wouldn't have stayed in Konoha. The weasel's eyes sparkled. The problem that had troubled him for so long. The conflict between the village and the family seemed to have a crack opened at this moment. That psychologist named Kazuhiko, although he's 18 and still a genin, has a mind that. So powerful. Chapter 8. I support you becoming Hokage. Uchiha Shisui's affection for you has increased to bond. Chonin level entry draw chance +1. The unexpected joy almost caused Uchiha Kazuhiko to lose his composure in front of Shota. Hagi water, you bastard. You can even talk your way out of yourself. Uchiha Itachi's affection level towards you has increased to friendly. Keep up the good work, and you will build mutual trust. Chance of drawing the genin title +1. Have you completed the task and claimed the reward? Robust physique green. No. Shisui, keep talking your way out. Let me see your limits. It's clear that Shota has a very happy family background, which will be a solid foundation for you to awaken your Sharingan. Uchiha Kazuhiko stood up to see off the guests. That concludes our conversation for today. I will personally visit you at this time, tomorrow, to confirm when you will be able to awaken your Sharingan. Uchiha Shota's joy was palpable, and he exclaimed excitedly, Really? Kazuhiko-senpai, I'll go back and tell my parents right now. Of course, such cooperation from you is rare in the Uchiha clan. Kazuhiko sent him out and said with a smile, I'm 3 years older than you, but unfortunately I don't have a younger brother. If you don't mind, you can call me Brother Yan from now on. Brother Heian. Okay, see you tomorrow. Kazuhiko watched Shota's departing figure with a genuine and radiant smile. At this level of affinity, you're practically a loyal follower. With Shisui and Shota +2 followers, he couldn't help but laugh. A little groundwork laid during the home visit will allow me to garner a large amount of goodwill from the Uchiha clan. I'm such a genius. Unfortunately, he was only a genin, and even with his mastery of genjutsu and Sharingan's hypnotic illusions, he couldn't make the genjutsu absolutely real. It would be great if I could do a 10 pull of Jonin. If you extract the 3 Tomo Sharingan, the genjutsu effect will definitely be taken to another level. After all, awakening the Sharingan will enhance one's strength in all aspects. The enhanced genjutsu, combined with Shota's negative attribute genjutsu susceptibility, will definitely exceed everyone's expectations in terms of the effect of awakened genjutsu. The stronger Shota's Sharingan becomes, the more goodwill he gains. Which Jonin do I know? Let me quickly raise their favorability so I can do a 10 pull. Waiting online, very anxious. Kazuhiko sat back in his office, continuing his psychological counseling while pondering who he could gain favor with. After thinking it over, Yan felt somewhat desperate. Because people of similar kinds gather together, and things of similar kinds group together. Without exception, all of his friends who could hang out with this middle-aged genin were also genin. Among them, elderly genin accounted for as much as 90%. Compared to his peers, Kazuhiko, an 18-year-old genin at the peak of the 9th dan of chakra, is a rare middle-aged genius. Kazuhiko sighed inwardly. Socializing downwards is a dead end. An inferiority complex is unacceptable. If you can't rely on your friends, you should check how your classmates who graduated from the Ninja Academy are doing. Kazuhiko took out his graduation yearbook from the bookshelf and started flipping through it. The first thing that catches the eye in the yearbook isn't his graduation photo from the class of 42, but rather introductions of outstanding graduates from the Ninja Academy. Outstanding graduate of the 41st class, Kakashi Hatake, one of the youngest graduates in history, graduated at the age of 5. Outstanding graduate of the 41st class, Sarutobi Asuma, son of the 3rd Hokage, graduated at the age of 12. This year's students are something else. The whole show is evenly matched, no doubt about it. However, there seems to be something wrong with this son of the 3rd Hokage, who graduated at the age of 12. The introduction is clearly titled, My Naruto Father, right? They're not even going to act in it. Kazuhiko continued reading. Outstanding graduate of the 42nd class, Uchiha Obito Konohamata, graduated at the age of 9. 42nd outstanding graduate, Shizune, excellent medical ninja, graduation age 9. No, the 10th generation boy group graduated with me. Are the 42nd graduating class really this good? I never knew that before. Kazuhiko rubbed his chin, thinking that he was indeed in the same year as Obito and Shizune, but not in the same class as Obito, so they didn't have much interaction. After all, one of them was a bottom-of-the-class student, while the other was a genius who possessed my medical ninja mother. Therefore, Kazuhiko ignored Obito at the time. He does have some connection with Shizune. Both of them have medical talent and share common interests. But I can't find anyone to get close to. Shizune and Tsunade are probably wandering the ninja world somewhere right now. When Kazuhiko thought of Shizune, the image of that blonde beauty involuntarily came to mind. In the original owner's memories, this Konoha princess was dazzling, with bright and striking features, a graceful figure, a tight and well-proportioned waist and long legs, and a sexy and hot demeanor. More importantly, she is as powerful as the head of the family, Iri, and is one of the legendary Sannin, fulfilling all of Kazuhiko's fantasies about a spouse. Which ninja doesn't dream of love? Which ninja could resist such an ultimate storyline as the overbearing Jonin falls in love with me? In the flashback, if the original owner of this body hadn't been so weak, she would have just yelled at Tsunade, "Sister, kill me." No, it should be, "Auntie, I don't want to try anymore." That's not right. Tsunade seems to be the same age as Mom, so I have to call her that. Kazuhiko is certainly not in that situation now, but then again. As a fan, Tsunade isn't out of the question. After all, a famous fan once said, "A fan who doesn't want to play the game isn't a good fan." 43rd outstanding graduate, Mike Guy, Konoha's proud blue beast, graduated at age 7. Outstanding graduate of the 44th class, Kurenai Yuhai, leading figure of the Konoha Illusion Department, graduated at the age of 9. Kai is undoubtedly deserving of the title. But what right or ability do you, Kurenai Yuhai, have to claim to lead the Illusion Department of Konoha? How dare they? They completely disregard the Uchiha clan. Wait, I'm going to test your strength right now. At the same time, Jishui is still exerting its efforts. As Brother Yan said, true peace is achieved through unity, not through sacrifice. We don't engage in extremism or rebellion. What we want is equality and respect. We want to unite to fight for equality and let everyone know that the Uchiha do not want to rebel. It is certain people who insist on ostracizing and dividing us. Therefore, we must unite the ordinary villagers and those ninjas who also yearn for peace. They are the majority. We must make as many friends as possible and as few enemies as possible. True unity lies in advocating for equality with reason and evidence. Shisui stood up, his eyes resolute. If one day the Uchiha clan is wiped out because of its system, discrimination, and power, if I go astray, I will regret it for the rest of my life. So we must stand up and change the current situation of the Uchiha clan. Shisui looked at Itachi as he finished speaking. We, the Uchiha clan, need a Hokage. Itachi's gaze was intense, and his eyes were resolute. Doctor, Kazuhiko is right. We must stand up and change the current situation of the Uchiha clan and heal the ailments of the Uchiha and Konoha. Shisui-kan, I support you becoming Hokage. Chapter 9, I'll make you regret it, Konoha's little elder. In the Hokage building, the third Hokage sat in his office, puffing on a cigarette, his brow furrowed as he looked at the secret intelligence on his desk. Apart from the sounds of people smoking cigarettes and turning pages, the spacious office was completely silent. Hurried footsteps sounded outside the door. Danzo, wrapped in bandages and leaning on a cane, had a deep, gloomy look in his eyes, exuding an aura of dominance. It was as if he were the owner of the building. Shisui, promoted to Special Jonin at age 11, the Uchiha's #1 genius. We must hold on to such a pawn tightly. I request that he be recruited into the Root organization. Before you see him, you hear his voice. Danzo slammed the door open and walked into the Hokage's office, his perpetually sullen face unchanged. The third Hokage frowned at Danzo, pressed down on his pipe, and took a few deep drags. Shisui works for me in the shadows. It's none of your business to interfere. Danzo narrowed his eyes beneath the bandages, revealing a cold smile. The dark area. Can the dark area control the water flow? The Uchiha clan has the blood of rebellion flowing through their veins from birth. The police department overstepped its authority, radical factions rebelled, and there was the Nine Tails incident. You know in your heart that the Uchiha will rebel sooner or later. A glint of light flashed in his eyes. Give Shisui to me. I'll hone his skills. I'll make him the sharpest sword in Konoha, piercing the heart of the Uchiha. The third generation suddenly exhaled a puff of smoke, raising the volume by 2 notches. Ridiculous. Do you think the Uchiha clan are all fools? Don't they know Root's methods? Do you think they'll let you ruin the clan's most outstanding genius? Or do you think I'll let you run rampant in Konoha? Danzo stepped forward, refusing to back down. The Uchiha clan, inherently evil, needs to be brainwashed and controlled to make them unconditionally obey orders. I'm doing this for Konoha. To make his point more convincing, Danzo pointed towards the Hokage rock, his voice suddenly becoming louder. Lord Tobirama had already concluded. The Uchiha are a cursed clan and must be controlled. Shisui, a genius of the Uchiha clan. As long as I let him join Root, I'm confident I can make him the sharpest blade in my hands, capable of completely subduing the Uchiha and eliminating all unstable factors for Konoha. Danzo's 3-tomo Sharingan, hidden beneath his bandages, slowly rotated, signifying the successful transplantation of the Sharingan and fueling his even greater desire for the power of the Uchiha clan. If Shisui can join Root, then he will have the opportunity to access the Uchiha clan's secret ninjutsu through this #1 genius and control the same power as Uchiha Madara. By then, all of Konoha's problems will no longer be problems. Under Danzo's wise leadership, Konoha will be great again. That's enough. The third Hokage slammed his fist on the table, utterly enraged. Kumikage is Konoha's greatest enemy. Friction continues along the border between the two countries. Don't forget, the war is not over yet. Kumikage village has expressed its willingness to negotiate peace. Wars always end eventually. We must first pacify our internal strife before dealing with external threats. The Uchiha are our greatest threat. Danzo remained unyielding, his tone somber. With differing ideologies and neither able to convince the other, the third generation, in a fit of anger, unleashed his final deadly move. Enough. I am the Hokage. I will never agree to incorporating Uchiha geniuses into the root during such a sensitive time. We need the power of the Uchiha clan to end the war. Faced with the third generation's exceptionally effective attacks, Danzo was utterly furious and trembling with cold. The third Hokage didn't understand himself at all and didn't comprehend that he was doing all this for the sake of Konoha. He was utterly unworthy of being Hokage. Short-sighted and foolish, not worth discussing anything with. Hiruzen, you'll regret this. Boom! He turned around angrily, slammed the door, and stormed off. Beneath the Leaf Village lies the Root Organization's secret base, a long and dark passageway where only the cold white candlelight illuminates the patterns on the stone walls. Danzo strode through the corridor and sat down on his own underground throne, leaning on his cane. Grown-ups. Two Root ninjas knelt on one knee, presented a sealed report, and then fell silent, expressionless, like sculpted stone statues. Danzo took the report, his fingertip tracing the sealing wax, on which was clearly recorded Uchiha Shisui's recent, detailed movements. Uchiha Shisui, 12 years old, Special Jonin, has awakened the 3-tomo Sharingan. Known ninjutsu proficiency, body flicker technique, fire release mastery, wind release, lightning release, Sharingan genjutsu, shadow clone technique, multiple shadow clone technique. He has never lost a fight against Jonin. His true strength is that of a Jonin. Main life trajectory: Uchiha clan territory, Konoha village, Hokage building. On September 3rd, the Secret Service was on duty, patrolling the village's outposts. On September 12th, he was injured during a mission and went to the Uchiha Medical Center to recuperate and receive psychological counseling. On September 14th, I went to the Uchiha Medical Center for psychological treatment. October 3rd, psychological therapy. He participated in Uchiha high-level meetings on multiple occasions, but did not express any clear opinions. His stance is questionable, and he had a close relationship with the clan head, Fugaku. Executed 21 Class A missions, 52 Class B missions. A genius Jonin of the Uchiha clan, who remained gentle even after awakening his Sharingan, his potential, is beyond imagination. Danzo rubbed the words, 3-tomo Sharingan, with his fingertips, a greedy glint in his eyes beneath the bandages. 3-tomo are not the limit of the Sharingan. Such geniuses must be kept within the Root Organization. Who is providing him with psychological treatment? Uchiha Iri's son, Uchiha Kazuhiko, is a genin who has not awakened his Sharingan and has no special talents. The psychological treatment he leads is merely talking therapy after putting the target into a light hypnotic state. Talk therapy, Danzo chuckled, closed the report, and fell into deep thought. Clearly, a Uchiha genin who only knows how to talk and heal is not worth his attention at all. Make contact with Uchiha Shisui and persuade him to join Root. The ANBU ninja raised his head, his gaze beneath the mask calm and unwavering. Sir, the third Hokage has clearly refused to allow Uchiha ninjas to join Root. Will our private contact anger the Hokage? Offended the Hokage? Danzo sneered, his hand gripping his cane slowly tightening. He is Konoha bathed in sunlight, while I am Root in the darkness. He stood up, gazing at the leaves on the root tissue, his voice filled with fervor. What right does he have to be Hokage? The 2 branches and 13 clans of Konoha bear the weight of my shoulders. The title of Will of Fire is not for Sarutobi to utter. He paused, then his eyes grew even more sinister. Tell Shisui that I have seen his talent, but the Konoha leadership is wary of the Uchiha. He is caught between the Uchiha and Konoha, and sooner or later he will become a victim of the struggle between the two sides. By joining Root, he will gain real power. I will support him wholeheartedly, not as someone to be suspected. Also, tell him the truth. The higher-ups have been secretly planning to weaken the Uchiha's power in the Anbu. If an Uchiha doesn't go to the security forces, but instead joins the Anbu, not everyone will just sit idly by and continue to serve the third Hokage, not even knowing how he died. Go. Yes. The two Root ninjas made no further moves, turning and disappearing into the shadows of the passage as if they had never been there. Danzo stood alone by the candlelight, the report on the stone table rustling in the wind. Keep an eye on the Uchiha clinic and see what Uchiha Iri is up to. Yes. The entire underground cavern fell into a deathly silence. He stared at the leaf village above him, his eyes flickering uncertainly. Sarutobi, you're too weak. You don't understand the Uchiha at all. The Uchiha are inherently evil, and I must control them. Chapter 10, Genin Chakra 9th, Dan Peak Perfection, Half-Step Tuning. Itachi Uchiha's affection for you has increased to. Trust, you will become close friends by actively getting close and sharing your feelings. Chance of drawing the Genin title, +1. Worldline quest completed, rewards automatically issued upon reaching maximum limit. Permanent affinity, robust physique, blue. Strengthened physique, significantly increases constitution, recovery, and chakra. Seeing the reward, Uchiha Kazuhiko nodded in satisfaction. Although Itachi is a bit neurotic and arrogant, he's actually a very good person. We can unite. Of course, Comrade Jishui also did a good job and deserves special praise. Most importantly, of course, my previous ideological work was not in vain and laid a solid foundation. Shisui is now the one with the true Hokage mindset. Itachi, you should learn from him. The strong physique attribute, which is permanently applied without requiring any equipment, will appear directly in the status bar. Permanent affixes: Phoenix Flower Fire Technique green, Chakra Sensing Mastery blue, Genjutsu Mastery blue, Abundant Chakra green, Robust Physique blue. As the entry takes effect, the chakra in Kazuhiko's cells and meridians began to surge and boil. A warm current, like a shower of energy, surged from his mind, flowing into his entire body, permeating his cells, meridians, muscles, and even bones, silently nurturing something. Tilde. This comfortable feeling made Kazuhiko shudder and couldn't help but groan. He could clearly feel. My nerves are throbbing with excitement, my cells are becoming stronger, and my muscles and bones are growing slowly. His body became strong, just as the entry described. The increase ended quickly, and Kazuhiko looked at himself in the mirror, observing the changes. Outwardly, there doesn't seem to be much change, but the muscle definition is much more prominent, a perfect inverted triangle, and he's gotten a bit more muscular. He lifted his shirt and stroked his well-defined abs, feeling a secret sense of satisfaction. No one can resist the body turning for the better, and Kazuhiko is no exception. Pity. The same attribute cannot be applied simultaneously. Otherwise, if I got a 3-digit, strong physique attribute, even Hashirama would have to polish my shoes. The inability to combine them is understandable. After all, a single P is 36 degrees C, and even if you P 10 times, it won't become 360 degrees C and scald anyone. If you want quantitative change to lead to qualitative change, you have to create an ocean that drowns others. Chakra amount +02, chakra, 0.7 kcal. Abundant chakra increased my maximum chakra by 0.1 chakra, and strong physique enhanced my physique while also increasing my chakra by 0.2 chakra. which is a pretty good boost. The data can't show how powerful I am. If the numerical values were to be represented, Kazuhiko estimated that his attributes had increased by at least 0.6. After all, strong physique is just a general term. Physical strength, recovery ability, and chakra reserves can all be included in the attribute list and enhanced. With these three attributes combined, Kazuhiko's chakra output in battle will definitely exceed 0.7 chakra. If external aids such as military rations are added, the combat capability will definitely be stronger. Kazuhiko is now only one Chunin exam away from becoming a Chunin. I'm going to take on 10. Uchiha Kazuhiko felt that he was terrifyingly strong. He possessed the peak of the 9th Dan of chakra and was at the half-step Chunin level, a state that gave him boundless confidence. Let Hashirama come. After his outpatient hours ended, Yan, holding his graduation yearbook, made a decision that went against his ancestors' wishes. He wants to learn from Kurenai Yuhai. Yes, he's despicable. He lusts after Kurenai Yuhai. Illusion. Actually, Kazuhiko planned to enhance his illusion magic one last time in preparation for awakening his eye. Of course, you should also work on both building goodwill and maintaining positive relationships. Although Iri, Echisen's mother, also knows sharing and genjutsu, there is a prerequisite for learning Uchiha genjutsu, sharing. So now Heian doesn't even have the ability to rely on his parents for financial support. To enhance illusion abilities in a short time, make VR illusions more realistic, and achieve the best results for Shota's eye-opening, it's still necessary to hone one's skills at the last minute. Exchanging experiences and learning from ninjas skilled in illusion techniques would undoubtedly sharpen Kazuhiko's spear to a gleaming shine. Therefore, Kurenai Yuhai, as the leading figure of Konoha's genjutsu system, is undoubtedly the best role model for learning from outside the Uchiha clan. Kazuhiko's plan is to apply for mission funding from his mother and directly hire Professor Kurenai Yuhai to teach him illusion magic. However, there is a problem. Everyone's illusion techniques are clan ninjutsu, which are subject to copyright restrictions. Therefore, if you want to hire Kurenai Yuhai and learn her clan's genjutsu, you have to offer ninjutsu of equal value in exchange and obtain the consent of your respective clans. As the only son of her family and the current female head of the family, Kurenai Yuhai already possesses the copyright to all ninjutsu, so that's not a problem. Kazuhiko, on the other hand, planned to use the Uchiha's exclusive genjutsu seal, an amplifying secret technique, to make an equivalent exchange with Kurenai Yuhai. However, he only had the right to use ninjutsu, not the copyright to teach it to others. The copyright belonged to his mother, Iri. Family secrets, not to be passed on lightly. Those who secretly exchange gifts are considered traitors to their clan. If you want to make an equivalent exchange with Zai Rai Hong, you have to apply to your mother and leave a record in the clan. Although Iri dotes on Kazuhiko, granting him the treatment of being second only to a human and above a cat, it is clear that she would never agree to this. After all, the Uchiha are the largest clan in Konoha, and their sharing in genjutsu is renowned throughout the ninja world. They are the only ones who dare to claim the title of number one. Which wise person would agree to exchanging a heaven rank illusion technique for an earth rank or even a profound rank illusion technique? But life will always find a way. Yan had already figured out how to fool his mother, and today when he got home, he applied for startup funds and the copyright to the secret technique. Mom, you don't want your son to grow old alone, do you? In the center of the clan, there is a small courtyard in Iri. After getting off work, Uchiha Kazuhiko rushed home to prepare a meal. The dining table is square, with 2 meat dishes and 2 vegetable dishes arranged exquisitely on it. Uchiha Iri, dressed in casual clothes, sat in the main seat and unsurprisingly ate watermelon with a wooden skewer. Fruit tastes best when eaten with wooden skewers. This is a consensus reached by the whole family. Of course, this consensus was formed under the guidance of Iri, the head of the household, and Heidke, the cook, was responsible for its implementation. On the booster chair to the right lies the ninja cat Kuroten, its body completely black with glossy fur, its paws tucked in, eyes closed, tail swishing. Kuroten is a traditional ninja cat who only eats fish and not fruit. On the other hand, Uchiha Heidke fared much worse. He wasn't at the table and was still busy in the kitchen. Yang could tell from the smell that his father was cooking fish for Hai Tan, preparing the final soup. Mom, eating watermelon. And the outfit you're wearing today. Iri raised her hand to stop Kazuhiko from continuing, focusing on eating watermelon without even glancing at her son. Tell me, how much do you want? Yan is delighted. My mom is so cool, I love it. Ying Shu listened intently to his wife's words. Black charcoal didn't even open its eyes, still wagging its tail. It is cared for by its owner, Iri, and can carry out tasks on its own without having to hand over any money. It is not short of money at all. Kazuhiko felt a little embarrassed when he thought about the money needed to hire a jonin. 15 taels should be enough. Taking away the young master. Dad Ying Shu gasped in disbelief as he entered the kitchen. 15 taels. That should be enough. Chapter 11, Mom's Insights. Taking away the young master. Uchiha Heidke nearly dropped the spoon in his hand into the pot. He forgot about cooking the fish soup and looked at Kazuhiko with a shocked expression. What do you have that you can afford to spend 15 taels of silver? 15 taels represents a low-intensity A-level mission. As a Chunin who had lived for millennia, Uchiha Heidke felt that the money was enough to buy his life. He certainly didn't have this idea because his family was short of money. In fact, it's the opposite. Iri, the head of the clan, is a rare medical jonin in the Uchiha clan. She has access to top-notch medical resources and can make money faster than by robbery. As a succubus from the Uchiha clan, Ying Shu was quite wealthy. As a security officer, his salary was not low. The fact that Yan's family was able to build their own house in the center of the clan's territory speaks volumes. After all, in the Uchiha clan, power and background matter. But, as a cook, Ying Shu's family background led him to experience both poverty and resentment towards the rich. So when he heard his son ask for 15 taels of silver, it was really hard for him to accept. He even thought he was hallucinating. 15. This is enough for my allowance for 10 years. You are my son, that's true, but what gives you the right to do this? Uchiha Heidke was internally screaming. I can't give it to you, that's all my money. Dad's reaction was exactly what Yan had expected. He remained very calm. Dad, calm down. I need this 15 taels for investment. Do you understand investment? I don't know anything. Heidke, rarely swearing, rushed to the table. All I know about you is that all you do is ask the family for money all day long. You don't do anything productive at your job. You're just a good-for-nothing. He turned to Iri, filled with righteous indignation. Honey, you can't spoil this brat with everything. His so-called psychological clinic, to put it nicely, pioneered a new medical field. You don't know what people outside say about him. They say he got into the medical system through connections. He channeled his actor persona as the father, looking utterly heartbroken. He's ruining your shining image, honey. Now when we go out and people ask me, what does your son do for a living? I'm too embarrassed to say he's a medical ninja. Blackie had opened his eyes at some point. his amber pupils fixed on the zookeeper as he spoke eloquently, determined to say something fair. 15 taels is enough for Lady Iri to eat watermelons for 3 years, meow tilde. That's enough for me to eat fish for a year, meow tilde. The discussion concluded with each family member expressing their opinion. The person in charge, Iri, finally raised her beautiful double eyelids, ignoring her husband, Hideki, and instead turned her gaze to Kazuhiko, her eyes calm but scrutinizing. Reason. One word, concise and powerful, perfectly showcasing the demeanor of the head of the household. Kazuhiko cleared his throat, knowing it was time to put his acting skills to the test. Mom, he took a deep breath and gave what he thought was a sincere and slightly shy smile. Actually, I want to date Kurenai Yuhai. Most of the time, lies are the truth. Puff. Yingshu almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Iri paused slightly on the wooden skewer in her hand, and the watermelon slice slid off and fell back into the fruit plate. Black Charcoal turned to Kazuhiko without blinking, stopped wagging its tail, and its cat ears stood up with a whoosh, instantly switching into gossip mode. The ninja world cannot exist without the 8 trigrams, just as the West cannot exist without Jerusalem. You've probably heard of Old Lady Kurenai, right? Heian felt ashamed as he reached out for money and spoke rapidly. A leading figure in Konoha's Genjutsu department, a special jonin, single, 3 years older than me, mature and intelligent, and as beautiful and charming as you, Mom. Stop. Iri put down the wooden stick and slowly wiped the corner of her mouth with a tissue. Continue. Heian's eyes lit up. He knew there was hope. In the precocious world of Naruto, if it were criminalized for a parent's child not to find a partner and get married, Kazuhiko, who was still single at 18, would be conservatively estimated to be single for at least 10 years. I want 15 Ryo to hire Kurenai Yuhai to teach me illusion magic and create the conditions for contact. At the same time, I want to use our illusion seal secret technique to exchange with her for the family illusion technique of the Sunset Clan. Think about it, Mom. This money isn't wasted. It's actually a gift to your future daughter-in-law, so we win. And the ninjutsu we get in exchange will eventually be learned by our Uchiha people, so we still win. Kazuhiko looked certain. Your son is a genius. He's winning like crazy. From the kitchen came the sound of Aiki's heartbreak. I think you're throwing good money after bad. As an Uchiha, hiring outsiders to teach you genjutsu and exchanging secret techniques, and you call yourself a genius. What a disgrace to your family. Iri ignored him, stared at Kazuhiko for a few seconds, and suddenly spoke. You like women older than you. It's not a question, but a statement. Kazuhiko was taken aback, then said awkwardly, older people are better at taking care of others. Actually, age doesn't really matter to him. He's a huge fan of Hinata. But 3 years is still a bit too early. Of course, if Kazuhiko isn't picky, Tsunade isn't out of the question either. The leg shadows and water shadows are also quite nice. Iri stared at her son without saying a word. Clearly, this reason was not enough to convince her. Kazuhiko felt immense pressure, scratched his head, and continued to organize his thoughts. Kurenai Yuhai is a genjutsu expert, which will be of great help to my psychological diagnosis. Mom, you know me. There are many sharing and genjutsu techniques that I simply can't learn. Learning the Yuhai clan's genjutsu will also help me improve my strength, right? He spoke in a grand and dignified manner, but how could Iri not know who her son was? 3 months was simply not enough time for Kazuhiko to change his image in Iri's mind. In Iri's eyes, Kazuhiko is still that 18-year-old medical genin. His friends are excellent. He needs to ask his family for money, and you're not obsessed with Tsunade anymore. Iri raised an eyebrow, carefully observing her son's reaction. Kazuhiko was a little taken aback. I'm a seasoned football fan, and I watch games very rationally, okay? I don't have any crushes on any particular player. I appreciate anyone who has excellent skills. He remained completely calm and composed. Mom, that's admiration, pure admiration. Lady Tsunade is one of the legendary Sannin, incredibly powerful. It's perfectly normal for me to admire her. So normal that you even call out Tsunade Nichin in your dreams. Yan was sweating profusely, feeling like he could dig a house out of his toes. Snow in June. I'm innocent. Why should I pay the price for what the original owner did? I never thought about conquering Tsunade, raising Hinata, or falling in love with the beauties of the ninja world. The excuse that I hired Kurenai Yuhai as a maid to pursue a romantic relationship was just that, an excuse. I have no interest in women. My mother has a really deep misunderstanding about me. Ying Shu then leaned over, his face full of gossip. Is that so? Dad, shut up. Iri finally smiled, a knowing smile playing on her lips, and delivered her conclusion. You prefer older members of the opposite sex. I don't. You like mature women, like Tsunade. That's why you publicly express your support for her, and now you've set your sights on Kurenai Yuhai. Iri counted on her fingers. Kurenai is 3 years older than you, a mature woman, and very strong. She has Tsunade's shadow in her. Kazuhiko opened his mouth, but found he couldn't refute it. Because the original owner of this body truly admired Tsunade. After all, you can't hide your feelings for someone. However, Iri changed the subject. Kurenai Yuhai is indeed a good choice. Yan's eyes lit up. Was he going to get more money? Born into a small ninja clan, with no complicated family background, possessing outstanding talent in